What is up, everybody? You are listening to Enough Daily by your girl, Taylor Marie. This podcast is all about overcoming what you may think is impossible. A place where we discuss tools, topics, and stories that have helped me overcome unhealthy coping patterns. How we feel about ourselves has an enormous impact on our mental health and well-being. Because when we don't feel great about ourselves or consider not being good enough, we tend to make decisions that are not in our best interest. So allow me to not only be a lighthouse for you for hope, but most importantly, a reminder that you are enough. What's up, everybody? I'm so excited to be here today. I really am. It's season 1, episode 1. And I have been in the process of coming out with Enough Daily podcasts for a while. It's been in the works, and I'm just super excited to start sharing my most vulnerable self and my journey and experience through mental health so I can help others. So, which leads me into today's episode, which is the first one. You are not alone. You are not alone. And I know one thing one thing I know I felt when I was going through my journey was I felt alone. And I know we all have shit, right? We're all going through something. We all cope in different ways, and they may not be the most healthiest ways. So when we're in those areas of life and it's not healthy, it can be very lonesome. And that's all I'm here for today, friends. To kind of just express myself and help everybody be a little bit better mentally, more self-aware, build a toolbox that, throughout the years I didn't have, I didn't know. In schools we're taught things that aren't really real, things that we're not going to be using in the real world when we get out of school. And that's my mission. I want to get into schools. I want to help teenagers, because that's where it started for me, right? So who am I? Right now, I'm a personal trainer. I've been personal training for 8 years. I've then got into the whole nutrition space. So I'm also a nutrition coach. And then fast forward 2023, I'm finally in the position to help others, mentally, and really want to be in the life coaching space now. And I do believe it's all connected, and that's the mission of Enough, right? It's not just mental health, but it's also what are you putting into your body as fuel? Because you are what you absorb, you are what you eat. So not only are we going to be talking about ways that you can improve your mental health and how to understand things that you may be going through that can make you feel so alone or that you're not enough in this world, we're going to be dabbling into how can we better that also through nutrition and physical fitness. So I'm really excited to bring that to you guys. And we're going to have so many different topics with so many different episodes. And if you guys ever have, ideas, or you want to hear about something more that you want to hear a topic on, please feel free to DM me at Enough Daily. That is the Instagram, so you can go there. Or if you just need to say thank you, or hey, I have a friend, or you just need someone to talk to, I'm here. Because we all may not have somebody to resonate with, because everyone's so fancy dancy on the Instagram and they want to highlight the ups, but in reality, behind closed doors, when we go home from work at night or when we turn off that camera, what's going on? Who are we? Because who you are when nobody's looking, who you are that nobody sees, is you. And a lot of people, I feel, walk around with their mask on a lot of the days, and that was me. For many years, I walked around, I went into work with a mask on. I was a Orange Theory fitness coach for a good 4 years, and I always felt like I was like two different people, right? So I would go in there, I'd be this powerful coach, hoorah rah, but at the end of the day, I would be leaving there depressed and sad some days, and just be in very unhealthy relationships, and but when you go in there, you're there for the people. You have to motivate, you have to uplift. But I will say though, it definitely saved me. There's days where I just felt like I didn't want to live anymore. And yeah, just having that purpose inside that room is kind of what kept me going. So I started my self development journey back when I was 16, and I didn't even know it was like a self development journey. All I knew was something was wrong, right? I just always was crying, at that I remember I was 16, and that's when I struggled with my emotions and didn't know how to cope. So I started getting into self-harm as a way to cope, and I know a lot of people struggle with that. And I just couldn't understand my emotions, why they were so intense, why it just felt like I could not escape. Almost like I would rather like be dead than feel this. So I guess it was a way of, releasing and just kind of almost like hating myself, right? Cuz I mean, I guess you almost do if you're doing that to yourself. But not intentionally, but I just hated the way I would always feel. And we'll get later in deeper into that in different episodes as to, what has happened to you, as to why you are the way you are today, and coping mechanisms and things like that. So I won't go on a tangent with that. I was just kind of giving a little background of my story. So that was back in 2009. I started counseling. I went to my mom and I said, look, something's wrong. I need help. So we got into counseling. Uh, Years later, it was a process. I was still coping in unhealthy ways. I didn't really dive into what self development was until honestly, like 2 years ago. And, throughout this whole journey of 16 years of starting counseling, I've had like three or four. So, that's another thing we'll talk about is seeking help and getting into counseling, how to know how to choose a counselor and things like that. So I'm just really excited throughout this whole, since I've been 16 to now, there's just so much to talk about and to help you guys with how to maneuver and navigate through your journey, because I didn't get to where I'm at today in a snap of a finger. Like when I entered counseling, I was still having bad coping mechanisms, still going through the same habits and unhealthy patterns. So that's another thing we're going to talk about and try to break and understand. So yeah, friends and fam, I just really try to represent, it's a lifestyle. Same thing with how you eat. You have to make it a lifestyle. Physical fitness, make it a lifestyle. And then the self development, mental health, it has to be a constant lifestyle for you to build on. And it's just really all about making it a process and enjoying that process and knowing that there is hope and there's a light at the end of the road. Because for the longest time, I felt so hopeless. I never felt like I could overcome some things. And don't get me wrong, I still struggle some days and I'm not where I want to be, but I'm damn near not where I used to be. And that's the greatest feeling of all times. So I'm just here to help you to not feel alone. A lot of people have addictions. It could be whether it's, body dysmorphia, it could be a porn addiction, it could be alcohol, drugs, a love addiction, self harm. So I know everybody in their own way we're damaged. And where does that come from? Could come from many things. Like what happened to you? What happened to you when you were younger? And I really want to teach people that we just got to peel back the layers. And I'll tell you one thing, when you learn to understand it, it becomes a little less painful. So if you're going through life and you're just wondering like, oh my God, why am I like this? I promise you, peel back the layers. We're going to try to understand it. And it does become self-awareness. There's a lot less pain within it, right? because you dive deep. Not many people are self-aware. So one thing, while if you guys are listening to this, take away from, the feeling of being alone when you are in those moments of like, oh shit, I just feel like I'm in a dark place. People don't understand me. I feel like I'm a burden. I get all those feelings. I totally resonate with you. Um, Find others who did it or who are going through it, right? And there's so many avenues out there today. So you can look up podcasts. Here's one of them. You can YouTube, maybe different things and what you're struggling with. Books. I'm going to be going over multiple books that I read that helped me. But find your lane, because there's so many people who are, I guarantee you, struggling with what you are struggling with and you don't even know it. But you just have to seek it. Seek and you shall receive, right? So yeah, I'm going to keep these episodes short and sweet, all about 10 to 15 minutes, so I can, get straight to the point, keep your attention, and have you leaving with something to take away each and every episode. So, friends, let's start building the toolbox. My toolbox may not look like your toolbox, but I'm going to give you kind of what I have in mind, and you can take away with what may work for you. So yeah, and that could be nutrition. Like I said, I'm going to get into the physical fitness, and then of course the self-development side. So yes, I want you guys to do all one thing for me today. Remember, you are enough, because that is my testimony. That is my story. I walked around for so many years feeling like I just wasn't enough, but it was just situations and the belief a story I built in my head. And a lot of people, we kind of hang our hats up on these stories we create. And the mind is so, so powerful. It's so powerful. But once you learn to master it and understand it, it becomes just a little bit easier over time. And you hear the best leaders and best mentors, they didn't get to where they were at overnight. It took time, it took process. Like I'm sitting here and telling you guys, like I have over 10 years now 14 years in the game of counseling and self-development, but I really didn't know what it was to dive deeper into that until like I said, 2 years ago. So now I'm just in a space to be, my most vulnerable self to you guys, and here we are. So if you find value in this, or you find someone else can find value in this podcast, please let's start the growth of it. Please share. Like I said, you can go to the Instagram Enough Daily. We're going to be soon having merch out that you guys can also purchase. I want to have a support group. So this is just the beginning, and I'm super excited. So just know, guys, there's a community waiting for you, and this could be one of them. You just have to find it. And like I said, you're not alone. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time.